Video games are now the biggest entertainment industry in the world. Whilst many people aren't surprised by this statement, and some people are surprised, or more of a suitable word, shocked, one thing we should all agree upon is that video games have brought us very much entertainment and joy to the world. Millions of communities have come about, and as a result, the passion of the communities still continue to grow around gamers today. If someone was to ask me, what is it that makes video games so special to you? I would answer with, games can take us on journeys that no other entertainment industry can match, and whatever your style and preferences that you're looking for, games will have you covered. You want to play in a fictional universe? Check out Halo, Mass Effect, Destiny. You like sports? There's FIFA, Madden, NBA. Or if you're looking for a more complex sport, play Rocket League. You like puzzles? Try out Portal 1 and 2. Are you a petrol head? Forza, Drive Club, Gran Turismo, and Need for Speed are for you. You want a real challenge? Go beat Dark Souls or Bloodborne. There is something here for everybody, and that should note that is one of the reasons I think the industry is so big today. But there is another category of games that are very appreciated if executed very well, and that is historical games. Games that attempt to take us back in time and experience the feeling of being in that era, and discovering events that happened before our lifetime. But let's make no mistake, us humans have been around for a very long time, and a lot of things have happened since then. It should be apparent that we would probably not live long enough to go over everything that has happened since our time began. Now, when a game releases that is set in a historical period and is received very well by the communities, it will then expose generations to that historical period and encourage us to learn more about it, and I think that's fantastic. Unfortunately, not all time periods in history get the same amount of love and recognition. After doing a lot of research, here is 5 time periods that I think gamers want to see explored more often in video games. Please keep in mind that I'm going to make this list very balanced on which franchises can actually base their games in these times based on their gameplay formula. Number 1. The American Civil War, lasting from April 12, 1861 to May 9, 1865. The controversy over the slavery and the states' rights, the Union Army versus the Confederate Army, around 620,000 soldiers had been killed by the end of the war. Many games have visited this era, like Call of Juarez and the History Channel, but didn't seemingly provide the quality for the players' enjoyment to make them feel sucked in. These resulted in the game scoring minor reviews and soon forgotten about. Many famous figures in history like Abraham Lincoln and Robert Edward Lee made their mark during this war, which secured their place in the history books. I'll let you be the judge of what kind of game you would want to see from this war, or if there is an existing franchise today that you think should give it a shot. Number 2. Exploration and Discovery. I may be mentioning more than one era, but they are all based on the same premise. During the times when new continents were discovered by those who went out to the sea, perhaps a very hard-driven, story-focused game as you go on the journey with the sailors into the unknown. A few good ideas would be the Aztecs, Abel Tasman and James Cook discovering Australia and New Zealand, or how about even America before Columbus. These ideas, like I said, probably would work better in a story-focused, but if it was done well with the characters and the story, it would probably offer quite the journey. Now, number 3, going for a time that I think would fit the first-person shooter market perfectly, the Korean War. The Korean War lasted from June 25, 1950 to July 27, 1953. The disagreements that both the north and south side of Korea had against each other soon brought the whole world back to war just 5 years after World War II, and by its conclusion, around 178,000 of the South Korean allies like the US, Britain, Canada, Australians, etc. were killed. Whilst on the North Korean side, consisting of North Koreans, Chinese and the Soviet Union, together lost around 400,000 men. As for the civilians, 2.5 million casualties were carried by the end. The Cold War has been explored quite often when it comes to times like the 1960s when the Vietnam War was raging, but the Korean War has very little notice taken. The scale of the conflict was a size I think that is big enough to make a game today, and I think it would make an interesting narrative for the game that since many of the aftermath problems after the war are still ongoing to this day. Number 4. The Great Depression, lasting from October 1929 to 1939. For 10 years, the American public's constant struggle to get jobs, and those who did get jobs were offered very low investments and their spendings were very limited. The darkest year for the Great Depression was in 1939, when around 15 million Americans were unemployed and half of the country's banks failed. This is suggested by gamers to be an open world game with perhaps some RPG elements thrown in. Whilst Mafia 1 was set during the years of the Great Depression, it didn't have a very strong focus point on that situation. Personally, I think it would be very interesting to see the Great Depression in an open world game. The constant struggle the player may have to come across, and the characters around you always being in jeopardy. And finally at number 5, the Jurassic period. Now I can already tell some people may have concerns about this time period because of perhaps the variety of fun we can have outside of the presentation, or just because we've played Far Cry Primal and look what happened there. But I'm not really looking at an open world game. I'm thinking of more of a linear stealth survival horror type game with action elements thrown in, very much like Alien Isolation, where most of the game relies on stealth and survival. This is a time period where humanity had very little say in this era because the dinosaurs were the ones who ruled the world. Aside from Jurassic Park related video games, not many games have actually attempted to try it out. There was this title called BC that was supposed to be published by Microsoft. The idea for the game was for the player to control a tribe, and the player would have to evolve and migrate them until they became a powerful species. Unfortunately, the game was cancelled in 2004 due to unknown reasons. I would hope in the future that the game I'm trying to propose should be looked at, unless you just want to play as a T-Rex and just kill everything. I mean, that would be cool as well. Wouldn't be much of a miss either. See you guys in the next